Hi, that's a Chan. What else is there? We need to discuss about this.
Why are you flexing?
Yeah, like always, forever flex.
Just relax, bro. It's a chill podcast. Like,
So this is a podcast where you think that you're almost flexing, but this guy actually has the biggest arms. The biggest arms. Right here.
All right, we wrote 3 topics down.
Okay.
We're talking about habits and discipline and how that can create momentum. The podcast name we're trying to go for is create momentum. So how habits and discipline link into momentum is what we're going for. The first thing that we wrote down was the domino effect.
Okay.
So who wants to talk about what that means to them?
Let's start with this. So you guys are talking about...
is this guy taking over the fucking podcast?
Special guest.
You're a guest, okay? You're not a host.
Well, they didn't get what they include this object right here about
Domino effect.
domino effect. And what?
With your habits and your discipline, how they can either serve you or how they can break you.
Can I go first?
Sure.
As an example,
Eating 4 scoops of ice cream last night.
yeah, and then actually, you know what?
In his belly.
Oh yeah. You know what's funny is I woke up early. I felt okay. And I told you earlier I was at a set of lights, and I was like dozing, like I was falling asleep.
Yeah.
Trevor, if you will ever listen to this,
Cut that.
you were talking to me earlier and showing me a video. I was actually half asleep when we were doing that. So
Obviously, there was no sense.
So going back to my point, domino effect. If you do something bad, normally it's not just that one thing that's going to be negative. There's like other things that will happen after that. So for example, I ate something bad. I didn't have a good sleep, and then I woke up. I almost don't want to prepare breakfast. I was so tired, and then that kind of just triggers like something negative towards my day. And then
Do you think you still have a sugar crash when you woke up?
I don't know. I don't really know how.
Hey, nutritionist,
I don't really know how that feels.
Why did the ice cream
Because
crash
I
you
eat
so hard?
ice cream almost every day.
What?
I used to what?
There's nothing wrong with having ice cream, right? Iconis Prep.
You're my boy.
Iconis Prep measured out marble slab ice cream tap it every single night. He introduced Halo Top. That's very dangerous.
Would it make you sluggish though the next day?
Depends. I would say you're more sluggish depending if you're in a caloric surplus. So if you overate and you didn't use that food for fuel, you'll be sluggish. If you're in a caloric deficit, it can actually fuel you.
Yeah, I don't know. Like all throughout the day earlier, I felt tired, but then again, that was when I pulled 415 for a triple, first time ever.
So he was fueled. He was fueled for that 415. 4 kids. That's why he's that strong. If I had 4 kids, be that strong too.
So I want to just think about some things that would be a domino effect example for people. So you said one about the ice cream. I wrote one down, and if you can think of one on the fly.
Sure.
So the one that I wrote down was one that often happens with me per se, being either like meal prep or cooking breakfast. If I decide to sleep an extra half an hour, which doesn't really serve me because chances are I don't need that half hour sleep, I just want it. So I'll sleep an extra half hour instead of making breakfast. Then I go to work, I end up buying food that's not going to fuel me as good for the day. So I'm buying worse food than I would have meal prepped. And then I'm also spending money. So I'm eating worse and I'm spending more money and I'm not as fueled. Just because.
So those are your domino.
It trickles, just boom, 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 boom. And that's an often one for me with breakfast or just meal prep in general. It's like Sunday, Denzel would be like, oh, I didn't meal prep, so I gotta go to the food court and buy food. And then you spend money, you eat garbage, and it just like trickles like.
It could be that domino effect where Eric talked about, like for those that are let's say they're dieting or whatever. Like is that habit of, oh, I cheated today, so screw it, I might as well cheat for the rest of the day. I already broke it off.
There are some people who are like that,
Yeah. Not me.
Sam.
Your clients?
No, Jeff. Steve's client.
Yeah.
I was giving him a piece of that banana bread yesterday.
We shouldn't say names. We should use.
Oh yeah, cut that. So a person he works with.
What?
Go person. a clientele.
I already said his name. He's
We're
not.
just
he's not
going forward.
Yeah.
I think people
Done.
might not want to be in.
But that's exactly what he said. He's like, I'm that kind of guy. If I have that now, I'm gonna buy some stuff before I even get home, and I'm gonna demolish all those food later on, and I'm not gonna feel good about myself. I'm not gonna sleep good. So yeah, same thing. Domino effect.
I didn't write a domino effect for something positive though.
Okay.
So like, what's the domino effect of something?
Well, you know what? You plan your grocery day or night.
You spend more effectively.
You meal prep. You spend effectively. You'll have food for the day. Your workouts would most likely be better because you're filled with the right food and you're literally healthier.
Your body will show it too.
Absolutely.
For me, I probably overspend. I do create a list I create a grocery list, but not a grocery list of like, I'm gonna cook this for the first one and I'm gonna cook this for the second one. Like I don't make a grocery list based on meal plans, and I find that I always overbuy food. Yeah.
Interesting. Because my wife and I, and again, this is all her, not me.
Your wife?
She is. She's a rock star. She would ask me, what are we going to eat for next week? So we know the ingredients and how much we need to buy.
That's
so
huge.
There's no food wasted. So you decide on what you want to eat first. Go ahead. No, that's what I'm saying. You decide what you want to eat, or like an alternative for your lunch and dinner, and then maybe a few things of vegetables, and then you just kind of mix and match. That's what I do, at least. That's why you said all my food looked good.
I just I don't want to interrupt you all the time. I get a thought in my head, and I don't want to lose it, so I want to just spit it out.
Right.
It's the same idea what you're saying when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll create a grocery list, but not a meal prep list, and then I won't make breakfast. So the breakfast foods I buy will go bad. I told you I made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and the bread was moldy because I wasn't eating it fast enough, or the eggs will go bad.
Fridge.
So
all
of these things, though, like
stemming from you not
organizing and planning effectively.
Domino effect.
Yeah. Wow.
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 Wow. Which leads us to there's something we wrote there that if you do things right, doing the right thing is always the right thing, I think.
Yeah, that's one of we got 5 principal quotes that we wrote for this podcast. The first one is doing the right thing is always the right thing.
And I think just having that habit of doing something right, knowing that the domino effect will be positive, I think is something that you already want to consider. If you know, if you have a good choice and a bad choice, like, oh, it's Saturday today, maybe I can have this instead.
And this just goes for more than just exercise and nutrition and stuff. Like today, I came home and I did all my programming, all my work, talked to a bunch of people, got a bunch of stuff done. And the domino effect from that is like right now I feel way better. I'm like, oh, like
accomplished.
I feel accomplished. I feel less stressed because I'm like, I feel ahead. I don't got to do this on the weekend. I can focus on other things, like things that I want to do. So yeah, that's just a different domino effect. Whereas last week we had my 6-year anniversary, and then we were busy all day Saturday, and then I was building the program Sunday, being like, I'm working right now, and I got to go to work tomorrow. Like I'm like, oh, like it's just.
So would you say a domino effect will only carry over in a positive direction if it yields a result?
What do you mean?
Because you guys, it made you guys feel a lot better, like you guys were more accomplished because you started with one thing.
Yeah, I feel like it. Like every decision you have isn't just focused on that. It will yield other.
One thing I always say is if there's a problem, the solution is always work. You're never going to have a problem that's going to be the solution is like, for the most part, do nothing. It's like, oh, you have a problem? Do nothing, and that'll fix it. So like, if the problem is your meal prep or the problem is your programming on Sunday and you don't want to, whatever the solution is, it's going to be do work. Whether it's like you're overweight, the solution, do work. You want to put on muscle, do work. That's always the solution to a problem. It always involves work. Trainers, when we like in our line of work, if a trainer's struggling and they need to build their business and get clients,
do work.
There's no like
other solutions.
There's no other solution other than do work. You have to work. and then it's your job.
And when we mean do work and that kind of job, it's not just call the clients. It's not just, try and prospect on the floor. It's also personal development. You got to read, you got to learn, you got to practice. That's you. That is doing work because that will project. Like people will see what you're working on. Right.
Do you want to move on to point two?
Point two.
Denzel, you start point two.
So point two.
I was not prepared for this. This is.
Oh. So point two is what is two of our personal habits.
Ooh.
Two that we can speak on, and we wrote either one or two good habits and one or two bad habits that we need to get. Like
we've chatted about this a little bit.
Let's go first.
All right. Well, a bad habit of mine would be I like sleeping in. I will always prioritize sleeping in. Okay. If I do not need to do work, I'm staying in bed.
Is that even a bad? Is that even a bad thing though? I don't know.
I think it is.
It depends. What is sleeping in for you?
Like a Sunday where you stay in bed right till noon. I don't know.
What time did you go to bed Saturday?
Get into bed. Maybe something's 12.
I want to say something.
You are horrible. Stop it.
Hey, I stopped. I didn't say anything, Denza. Okay.
I think that's a bad thing if you do it all the time. Whereas if you do it once a month, where you just lay in bed extra, it's maybe not bad. But if that's like he said, so I think I want to agree with you and say it's a bad thing because you said you will prioritize it over everything. Whereas in that situation, I appreciate getting a nice sleep in every now and then. But most of the time, if my eyes crack open, I'm gonna wake up.
I will stay right in bed. And I'd be like, ooh, I could go grocery shopping, but I could do that later. Stay in bed. I could go work out. Nope, no work out later.
That works. That still works for you. It's not like you're neglecting anything else for sleeping in.
Yeah, but that could be again.
But you could be more productive in doing other things.
It could be personal development time. It could be a lot of things.
Right? Because I choose to stay in bed when I would actually open that time up.
That one's objective. What's a good one? A good habit that you have?
You'll always see me make breakfast. I always have some kind of breakfast made at home.
Like what?
What do you eat for breakfast?
So 2 breakfasts that our go-to is there's a quick one and a slow one. Let's go with a quick one. It's 2 turkey pepperoni sticks, portions, which is 125 grams of cottage cheese, 1% milk fat, and a protein shake.
Wow. Oh, pepperoni slow. Okay. I don't know when's the last time I had pepperoni steak.
Turkey pepperoni sticks.
Turkey pepperoni. Let's stay lean. Alright, it's quick, it's easy, you grab it on, you do no preparation, and it's always at home. So this when we talk about meal prepping, it's always at home, ready to go, which means there's no excuse why you cannot consume it for breakfast.
My problem with breakfast though is you want me to eat like a lot of carbs, and I have a hard time doing that. That what you just said seems like an easy breakfast to me, but there's no carbs in there.
There's no carbs in that. But you could prioritize your carbs later. That's a whole different discussion.
So you get pepperoni sticks,
cottage cheese, and a protein shake.
Ooh. Oh, and 1 kiwi. Always gotta have a kiwi every day.
So it's like protein on protein on protein.
Yeah, it's protein on protein.
He's trying to get boobs the size of yours.
So you think about protein synthesis, and those actually done research on this, and those are doing that whole intermediate fasting thing. Think that you have better production into that. You watch actually the best bodybuilders in the world, they will always keep a steady source of protein in their system at all times.
We literally squirrel at the same time.
Really?
We're like these freaking two. What? No.
Well, there's at the bottom. There's like.
Yeah. But that's a quick one. Imagine like if you were at like Quick Oats, that takes a minute in microwave for your case, whatever. But that's a good habit. I always prioritize breakfast.
Yeah, that's a different thing we need to talk about. That's another day.
That's another day.
Eric's breakfast.
But that's my
That's
habits.
like a full topic right there.
It is, depending on the person.
Yeah.
Like
for me, bad habit.
Ice cream, 4 scoops a night.
Still strong as hell.
Yeah, so it's not every night now. It used to be actually.
I just stopped at 4 scoops. I'll finish the whole thing.
I do that too.
When the kids are in bed.
But I feel like I can use more sleep. I go to bed probably between 11 and 12. Very rare that we would pass that, and I always get up at 5.
So what are you getting?
Like 6.
6?
Not overly bad.
The only reason I think that's bad now is because I was listening to like some sleep specialists on Joe Rogan's podcast, and they're like, they just bash it so hard, being like, I don't give a shit who you are. If you're like, oh, I run like a rock star on 5 hours sleep or 6 hours sleep is no problem. They're like, nah, it's still bad. There's long-term issues with that.
And see, for like the last 6 years, no, not 6 years, but for the last, say for example, about 4 years, I've always, I was proud of it too. Same thing. I told you I was like trying to start to write a book about time.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like a part of that. Like I only sleep 4 hours, or sometimes 3.5, sometimes 6, like tops. But the difference that I felt was last year when I was training a little bit more hardcore in CrossFit. I would go home sometimes just tired. I would sleep like before 10 o'clock. Get up at like 5:30 or sometimes even 6. I'd push it. Performance was like through the roof. Like the difference between my performance then and my performance now and before that time that I was sleeping between like 7 to 8 hours, you can't even compare. Like it's crazy.
Why aren't you going to bed earlier now?
So I get off work at 8, and then sometimes, most of the time, I stay a little later. I don't know why. Oh, that's one bad habit that I can change.
Yeah, leave work on time.
No.
These two.
What are you right now? You want to talk about Denzel? You want to talk about who gets off on time? Me. Right? It's thing 7, out that door.
He still sleeps in. What the
door.
Right? But, what was I trying to say? I feel like I can sleep more, or why?
Why don't you go to bed at a better time?
Because I get home late and I feel bad
that you didn't ask, but
that I did not spend any time with the wife. Whatever that is, whenever it's either we're stretching on the floor, sitting on the couch, or me just laying on her, whatever it is. But I feel like I should be awake just a little bit longer. So for me to like just go straight to sleep.
At the end of this bad habits, are we gonna like make a commitment to change it?
Yeah, you guys gonna go get
you gonna leave work on time, Eljay?
I think that is what I'll change instead of like trying to sleep earlier. So I'd be able to spend more time with the wife if I leave work earlier, and then I can probably.
But that would trickle into you being able to go to bed earlier too.
There you go. Hey, domino effect.
Domino effect. So what, you said a good one already?
I don't think so.
You said a bad one was just sleeping and now leaving. You said too bad.
What's a good
Both combined.
Oh my god, too bad.
Those bad habits were combined.
I can't think of any good. Well,
you have no good habits.
The meal prep, I think, is a.
That's your
habit.
wife. That's a wife.
I do it too.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
I'm a better cook than her. What?
That's a lie. Your banana bread is great.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
5 slices.
Obviously, didn't know.
Thank you.
You had 3. Steve had 3.
I had to set an expiration date on it.
But yeah, I don't know any.
You seem
listening to a podcast? That's a good habit, I think.
Well, a good habit is he always prioritize times for the family every night. Even if it's sacrifice.
We don't even like.
Sometimes my kids are already sleeping when I get home. Actually, I feel bad about that.
So I'm still a believer that it takes like a long time to learn. So we've only known you for 3 to 4 months.
5 months actually.
5 months.
5 months.
July.
But that's still, to me, that's still not fully like to get to know somebody.
Oh yeah, of course.
So like your good habits though is obviously like you'll always get your workouts in 99% of the time.
Now, yes.
You always spend time with your kids on the weekend.
Yes.
And like I'm not saying like you're around them, you're always doing something. You're always playing with them and you're getting like quality time, which I think is important. It's not like handing them an iPad being like, Daddy's gonna watch the game.
Yeah.
Go get Dad a beer.
Yeah,
Go get Dad a beer.
Yeah,
So that's good habits. Like that's habits that I would like to imitate when I'm like fucking 40 years old like you. When I'm 47 years old like you. Get out of here.
Still stronger than all of those.
Yeah, but I got 17 years to catch up to him. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
But we're
would he be in 17 years from now?
Who knows?
Way fucking stronger too.
Okay,
Watch out.
we already know my bad habit is breakfast.
One good habit of yours.
Good habits of mine? None. I got 0.
What do you think? What have you observed? Being his best friend for
Okay, so here's my good habits.
ever.
My good habits is I actually believe I'm a very productive person. I don't know if that's a habit per se. I think it is because I'll choose to be
Work. Yeah.
I'll choose to be productive over other things. So I'll prioritize getting shit done before I play video games or
You
sleep.
do prioritize your sleep.
And I prioritize sleep. So I'll always make sure I get 8 hours.
Productivity.
But then productivity wise, I can't wake up on a Saturday morning and just go and like start playing a video game and just chill. I'm like, Saturday morning, I either got to grocery shop, clean the house, walk the dog, spend time with Diane, go hang out with friends. I have to do something. I will only game or play games or relax at night once I feel accomplished. I would have a hard time coming home after swimming tonight and playing video games if I didn't do all the programming I did earlier. Now I kind of feel like I earned an hour to myself. Like, I've earned this hour, I can do me now. So I normally prioritize productivity and I prioritize sleep. I also prioritize like taking my vitamins every morning, making sure that I always have food.
I've been missing that actually.
So vitamins, food, water, sleep, those are all habits of mine because I like feeling good. And in order to feel good, I know
all those little things
will make me feel good because when I feel sick, I'm like the ultimate man cold. Like if I'm sick, I'm game over.
We know.
Yeah.
Yeah, screw you guys. Yeah?
Yeah.
No, James still sick. I'm not coming in.
Hey, I still here.
I'm like, oh.
I still here.
Stop being a baby already. Jeez. All of
You
us.
didn't bring me soup, dog. You didn't do anything. Eric, is
Not
there
even-
anything I can do to help you?
Not
No
even-
text messages were like, Eric, Denzel offered to bring me congee. What did you do, LJ?
'Cause I was pissed for being a baby.
I was trying to get kanji for myself.
And I just thought that I'd
It was just
extend.
you wanted to get
Yeah.
That was the last time you were a guest on this podcast. Okay, so with all these habits, one of the principles that we wrote, so these principles are quotes that drive us. I think the next one is spend major time on major things.
Yeah.
For you, I think just observing, that's like the weekend with your kids. That's like something I'm jealous of, and I don't even have kids. I'm just like, man, every time you tell me like, we went to the water park for 5 hours on Saturday and just like non-stop playing, I'm like, that's good. It's nice. Spend major time on major things.
What does that mean to you? What are the major things for you?
For me? For me, it's probably, right now, it's probably Diane, Denza, and my dad are big ones. So I guess when we say spend major time on major things, for me, it's those relationships. I like to make sure that I get quality time with Diane, continue to get time with Denza, and get a little bit of time with my dad. If I don't get one of those off, I feel off. So this week, Diane's been working night shift every night, and I'm like, I'm feeling like a little bit, it's affecting me, right? So that's the major things to me. The major things is like those people.
For me, yeah, family, as much as I can. Absolutely. I have to provide, right? So I have to be at work. Programming, I spend a good chunk of time thinking about it. I do it mostly Sunday morning, like around 5 a.m. No sleeping in. Around 5 a.m. But all throughout the week, it's like it's in my head, right? Like what I need to do for the workouts next week. What are the things that I can work on? What are my clients' needs? So I spend major time on that. I feel like the programming and the email that I send every Monday is like a major part of what I do. Also, church for me is major. So I spend my Sundays on that.
It's your major things.
Major things I spend most of my time on will be work and friends. I believe you can work hard, you can play hard. So you'll put a lot of time into work. That can allow you to afford you a lot more time to do a lot more friends or things with your friends and stuff. That's pretty much it.
So we're at 30 minutes here, so I'm gonna hustle on to the next topic.
Mm-hmm.
The last topic about habits that we wanted to discuss was what's the best way to form them. And before we get into there, we wrote get guidance from us. But when we talk about habits and the best way to form them, that kind of trickles into the principles that drive us. Being, I think when people try to build habits, they're like, oh, I need to start meal prepping, or I need to start exercising. But the biggest excuse we get is like, oh, I don't have time, and I'm so tired from work. I'm so beat up from the week. I don't have time. I'm so tired. I just got to go home and just sit on the couch and do nothing, which kind of trickles into one of the principles we talk. Says you're often tired not because you're doing too much, but because you're doing too little that sparks a light in you.
Mm-hmm. You're not excited about something. You're not passionate about anything.
You're not passionate about something to get you excited. And for me, I was starting to feel that way, which is why I was like, I need to start reading again. Mm-hmm. I need to start reading and start developing myself, because I just got caught in this web of go to work with my clients, clean my dishes, walk the dog, go to bed. Mm-hmm. Train clients, clean the dishes, walk the dog, go to bed. And I was no longer building myself. Mm-hmm. And that's ties into sparking that light in you. So
I say it's more your importance. So if you're trying to create a new habit, there gotta be a reason behind it. So yourself would be
the why.
The why, right? So you're doing all these things so you can get more time to do things for yourself. That could be self-development, more time with family, whatever. There's gotta be an output, right? So if anyone's trying to create more of a habit for, let's say, fitness and health, for example, if you're trying to lose weight, is it important enough to you? So that means, are you willing to put the effort into it? And that means if you're not going to get any result out of it, then you're not going to keep that habit because you're not getting something back. So I see it's a lot of importance. If it's important enough to you, you're going to make time and you'll put that work into building that habit.
But a lot of people know that health and fitness is important. They still don't.
Depends on how much of a priority you put that first, right? If someone chooses to eat out because being social with friends means more to them than them losing weight, you're going to put that over it.
This is an image I found recently. That's countless people claim to want to learn from the best or do whatever it takes to improve, as long as getting better is free, discounted, convenient, or easy. Oh yeah, I need to hire a coach. I need to lose weight. You guys got any sales?
Any discount?
You have a discount?
Buy one, get one free.
So what do you think is the best way to form habits, Eljay?
I've never really thought about it. That's crazy. But what he was saying, I think if you have a strong why, it'll be developed. But say, for example, let's look at it from, let's say, someone who's really green in the gym. So from that perspective, what do you think would be the best way for them to build a habit? I think it's just managing their time with you, helping them. Let's look at your calendar, and you're saying that you work from this time to this time. Just try and spot where they can be productive in terms of taking care of their health and managing their fitness, right? So I did that to one of my clients. She comes in once a week. No naming names now, I guess.
I'm so sorry.
I just want to bash people. But I had one of my whiteboards, and we put Monday to Sunday. We went to her class time.
Keep talking.
We kind of just plotted where her class times are. She's a student and also works. So we just put her entire week schedule on average on my whiteboard, and then looked at spots where she can train, or she can read, or she can study, or just think and write, because she enjoys that. So helping them manage their time, I think, is one big step of, we know you need to be in the gym this many times in a week. I'll manage your time for you. And every time you come say hi. I'll coach you for a little bit, and then you go on your way, kind of thing. So I think that will build a habit, just accountability and helping them manage their time and calendar. I think that's huge.
I think it stems, if we're talking about what's the best way for you to build a habit, you got to take it right to square one. And accountability is necessary, but it's not the first step, because if you get accountability, but you're still not ready, like even if you make the time, you still might not be bought into it.
Yeah.
So I think the first step, and I'm just like spitballing now because I'm just thinking, and we talk about this all the time, but the very first step is to get into the right mindset first. And how you do that is by surrounding yourself with like-minded, successful, happy, outgoing, confident people who are on the same journey.
But when we talk about that, again, from other people's point of view or their perspective or the way they've been living their lives, they have set of friends. Most of them are probably bad influences. They have families that they hang out with. 9 times out of 10, same thing. It's just bad influences, right?
What's the first step then to get in the right mindset? Making time for self-development, I guess, which is the gym. Is it a psychological aspect or a physical?
Well, when we talk about understanding or your philosophy in life, philosophy is everything you know combined. It's what you read, it's what you listen to, it's who you talk to, it's your experiences, all of that. So I think one of the best ways you can do for the domino effect, you start with something right. That could be reading a book or listening to a podcast, to be honest.
Everything you just said, though, I think maybe then a good spot for square one, if you're listening to this, everything you just said, who you listen
Sunridge,
to?
World Health.
No, say it again. Say it again. Who you listen to?
Who you listen to, what you read, who you hang out with.
All of those things, I think you need to get a pen and paper and reflect on.
There you go. All right, that's a good square
So a square one would be like self-reflection of where you're at right now and reflect on where you want to be. And then that, like, you have the starting point of where you are, where you want to be, and that's where you can start strategizing, organizing your baby steps toward to get in there.
Upper management of World Health, they should be part of our consultation, believe it or not. It's trying to get people to understand like what it takes to actually start successfully.
Yeah, it's called see us right away, not in 3 weeks.
The other thing with building habits, obviously, is if you take on too much at one shot, you're probably going to fail.
Yeah.
So changing one thing at a time. For me, I've been struggling with breakfast for years. It's worked for me to buy it, but at the same time, I do want to change it. But that one habit I've changed recently is my water intake. I'm crushing way more water, which is making me drink a little bit less coffee every day. I'm getting 4 to 5 liters of water.
How are you being successful on this one? What did you do to be successful with your water intake?
Bought a water bottle.
There you go.
I bought a water bottle that would help strategize my time. It has like 9 a.m., 11, tick, 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 tick.
Good.
The strategy there, but also I only tried to change one thing. I wasn't like, I'm going to drink more water and cook breakfast and start reading more books. I was literally like, I'm just going to start drinking more water.
I guess that depends on people. Like some people, when they go all in, it's all in. Some people wants to take their time, and it's one thing at once.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
0 to 100 kind of person. They're going to do something, I'm going to do it right at get-go, you do right as of today.
Right.
So, just to wrap this up here, because we're getting a little longer. The last 2 principles that we wrote that drive us, I think these ones, now, the first 3 were honestly yours. Mine are the last 2, but mine have kind of feels like nothing to do with this, but I'm going to say them anyways. They're just quotes that mean something to me. First one is, you don't need to set yourself on fire in order to keep others warm. What that means to me is, like, I find a lot of people will kill themselves and dig themselves into the ground trying to take care of others, and they're like, oh, I'm taking care of this other person. It's like you're trying to save people who are drowning when you do not know how to swim. It's a bit ridiculous.
Oh, but then that turns into habit. That becomes a habit too. People will drive themselves to the ground just to like make everyone else.
It's a habit of burning yourself out, and it turns into this vicious cycle.
Yep.
The other one is just a self-love quote that just says, if you listed all the things that you love on a piece of paper, how long would it take you to actually write down yourself?
It's the first thing.
For you, maybe. That's kind of all the talking points we have on habits. habits, and discipline.
Hope you guys find it helpful.
And we are no longer live.
Wait, what? We were live?
No longer live.
We were live?
Oh shit, we were live?
That's